And we're live.
Hey, what's up, folks? This is Dustin Garman here. Of course, I'm glad to be back with my co-host. Be sure to smash him with chairs and whatever you can throw at him.
But
Hey, that's not nice.
that is not nice. But how's it
In
going,
our,
guys? Welcome to Tell Us About Yourself, featuring the Boombada, the Italian stallion. Some say he might also be a shark in disguise, Chris Pagillo.
How's it going, guys?
Mhm. And Dizzy's saying hey already. Awesome.
Hey, Dizzy.
Mhm.
I just want to. Can I just say one thing before we start?
Of course.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
I'm going to answer a question now that always gets answered. No, I don't want to go to any company. I do not want to go for any tag team titles. I don't care about any of that stuff. Okay, let's continue.
Still gonna get asked.
Probably.
But okay, so Chris, this is your second time being on Tell Us About Yourself. The first time was the original run by Dustin Garman. I wasn't part of that.
No, you was not.
I was not. That was back in the Foxworthy days. Those were the good
Yeah.
days.
When Chibi had rest.
Days.
Mhm. But you know how this works. We're going to ask you a bunch of different questions. And hopefully we don't ask questions that we've already asked, but we probably will because that's how things work.
Oh, I don't care. Ask away.
All right, Dustin, go ahead and start us off.
All right, so excuse me, folks. Since season one, of course, it's been a good 2-3 years ago. There's been you've had more competitors come into the lot and such since then, and I just kind of wanted to go over a few of them and such. One of them being there is now like a shark in the LFF. And where did that come about?
It came about just for me at the very first Grand Gathering. I just wanted to buy something just to make a joke. And at that time, that's when Baby Shark came out. And either people loved it or they hated it. So I'm like, I know I got to do something just to annoy people. So I went to the party city by my house. I was just looking around stuff, and I saw a shark costume. I was like, oh. So right there in the store, I already had a different song already sent into Loudmouth for my entrance. I texted him right there. I'm like, I know it's a week away. Can I change my entrance song? He's like, depends to what. So I told him Baby Shark. He goes, oh my God, that's hysterical. He goes, yeah. I'm like, all right. So once he said yes, I took the costume off the shelf, bought it, and just wore it there at the first grand gathering, and everybody loved it. It went off as a hit. So he he's stuck now.
Yes, he is.
And I'm sorry, folks, sinuses. But and also we saw we saw some other competitors that you've made. You've made Jock. If I say it wrong, I'm sorry.
Jockey.
Jockey. Jockey.
Yes.
And how did Jockey kind of come about?
Well, Jockey was actually
Ow.
Jockey was a competitor that I tried to make back in 2019 in the CCC.
Mhm.
I entered as him and didn't get it out of the first round. I got destroyed. So, but then I always had in my head that I want to make Jockey because I have the Italian Boombada, whose backstory was a disgraced horse trainer who got kicked out for injecting himself and his horses with steroids. And Jockey was his jockey that was along with the ride that helped him cheat to win races. That got kicked out of the sport as well. So I always wanted to make him bring him to the game, and then I finally got the opportunity in 2020.
Mhm. But we've also had a few other ones come out more sentimental than others. We had the Boombada, and we
Yes.
just recently had the Angler.
Yes, my parents, my mom,
Mhm.
my dad.
And Boombada, beautiful card, very powerful. Surprised we don't see her as much as we should, because she hurts a lot of characters. Just with
especially
that
especially with the new cards that are out now. That now everybody's away from running skill cards on their stops from the 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't run them there. So now we put Boombada in, it kills 2 powerful regular skill cards in people's decks that people are running now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you also your father's character Angler is a reskin of a person that we are not going to say his name.
Yes.
But we are going to ask, how does low blow work with the competitor?
I don't know. When I alt-arted, I made one promise to Steve, and that is that I will never, ever use low blow with the Angler.
Oh, but other people have already done it.
Hey, I can't control people. I can only control myself.
Mm-hmm. But 2 very touching in memoriam for both of them. And then you've had a couple of tag teams come out since then.
Quite a number of tornadoes.
And I don't know how many trios. I know you have trios in the works.
Down the line.
Yes, down the line.
Yes.
Not.
But I have about 3 or 4 trios as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have both versions of Impact, Barnyard Mafia,
Mm-hmm.
Family, Brain Trust. That's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Am I missing any of them in my head? I don't know if I'm missing. I think that's all of it for trios. 5.
Yeah, and then because of the 2020, Jockey got
2020 is Jockey, so Jockey became it, and then I changed its name to the Paddock with Boombada with their own finish.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the Backstretch, Birdbada, Cheer and Fear, for Tornado. Shoot, am I missing any? That's it so far. There is going to be down the line. I am going to be making finishers for the Backstretch.
Okay.
Due to I have my new competitor that's coming out that can actually, it's a single but could run the Backstretch's finishes.
Oh. And
yes,
Dizzy has her first.
That's Mr. Match of the Year that'd be coming out. That can run
Mr. Match of the Year. That sounds cool.
He can run Backstretch, Shake, Boombada, and Shaggy Shark's finishers.
Amazing. Busy asks, will Angler and Boombada be getting a tag team in the future?
That is definitely something that I'm planning on doing. I plan on doing a tag team of my mom and dad, and then I plan on doing a trio of Boombada, my mom, and my dad. That's all stuff I already have in my head for stuff I want to make down the line.
Mhm. So
The, the, tr-
of
the trio is just going to be called the Badas.
the Bottas. A
Yes.
lot of money going towards a lot of very special tags, trios, and finishers. Awesome.
That's why I've been entering these going to these CAC events, hoping to win one of them. So I don't have to use the money.
Yeah, you also had a alternate version of one of your competitors come out. You had Shaggy Shark, and then you had Chibi Shaggy Shark.
Chibi Shark, yes.
Yeah. Same competitor, same gimmick, it's just new art.
Yes.
Will we be seeing any more of your characters jumped into the Chibiverse?
I don't want to say no, and I don't want to say yes. It depends on if it feels right. Shaggy Shark felt right to me as a chibi. Boombada, I'm going back and forth on, but with that, I have like 5 finishers. So,
Oh, you
so
can
that's going to be a little
you can add a
interesting.
6th one there. See?
I've been thinking about doing an alt art on Boombada, but I don't think she'd be well as a chibi.
No.
And same thing with Witch's Apprentice. I definitely plan on doing an alt art on her. I already have talks with somebody else on doing something with her.
Okay. Thank you, Meeple, for the community sub goal and smacking me in the face with so many kendo sticks.
And look at that. The Meeple gives the sub to Cecilia, his HR representative.
Oh, that's nice. The union in force today, I can see. Okay. So, on to other things. Just news that came today. You are no longer affiliated with any faction.
Correct. I have stepped away from the Cuddle Commandos. I had a talk with Matt Nealon and all, and it was just about time. Since I've been in the LFF, first I was a member of Khaleesi's group before he even had a name, and left him, joined immediately with John Poverino for the formation of Impact. Then was him for a couple years and had that big fallout. And like maybe 2 weeks later, Matt Nealon hit me up for the formation of the Cuddle Commandos. And I was with them for about 2.5 years. So I'm just saying, I was like, no, what? I'm like, I'm getting a little drained from being in groups all this time. I'm like, I haven't been by myself at all. So I finally want to see how it's going to be out on my own, not affiliated with anybody, just go from there.
What do you say to the potential rumors that people are saying that you're doing this to give yourself a better chance of getting a title shot against Matt Nealon?
It's actually the first time I've heard that. Honestly, I'm not in this game to be a world champ, to do this. I've done it already. Yes, I've had a lot of titles already, but the only title I ever wanted to go after was the trios, and now I'm the GM of that division. So like with this thing with the Birdcage that I'm in, people were putting out promos. I didn't put out anything because I didn't expect to be picked at all, and Kalacious threw me in there, which I appreciate. But yeah, no, I'm not doing this to try to go for more after Matt Nealon. And who even knows if Matt Nealon might even still be the champ after Sunday with him going against Grum.
Yep, this is very true. Okay, and speaking of that, we get to now go into another part of the segment that we've been doing. Super Show championship titles that you've held. And you've held, like you said, you've held a lot of them. You held the World Heavyweight. You've held the Underworld title. You've held the Trios title, of course. The one that you were trying to get a second time with, right?
No, I only won it once. That was it.
Okay, you only won it once.
Yep.
Okay.
I've never challenged for a belt for a second time after I've won.
Okay.
And then I also was tag team champ with Le Ping One.
Le Ping One. When was that?
We won it at Captain Con last year. The real tag team titles, the red belts. While Young Dumb and Broke were the other champs.
Those belts. The belts that are literally not in the record book.
This belt right here.
Mm-hmm.
I just might have it as a souvenir.
No, that is definitely the one that everyone kind of goes, oh yeah, because that should definitely be asterisked into the Super Show
Thank you.
Championships.
Like, I don't understand why we're not listed on there. Chuggy.
Well, we'll get after Chuggy. We'll have to give him some cola. We'll see who can put it on.
Let him sober up.
So
people forget I'm a tag champ because it's not listed.
mm-hmm. Because it's it's a now defunct tag title that became defunct months after it became official. It's like the WWE's SmackDown heavyweight title, the belt that never even got out of the bag.
And now, as of last night, they have 3 world titles. Yeah,
They're going to.
Oh, hold on one second. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, guys. I need 30 seconds. I apologize. My sister needs to brew real quick.
Okay, no
Oh,
problem.
you're good.
During these 30 seconds, we're going to go ahead and talk about why we didn't have a show last week. Dustin has been having some health issues. Thankfully, he's here with us today. He's still recovering. He's still... Yeah, well, tell us, Dustin, how you are doing today.
Well, before diabetic, I'm diabetic, of course, and the medicines that I currently was on, it was helping me get water weight and such off, but it wasn't really helping my sugar levels as much. So I've got a specialist and a dietitian now, and I'm eating regular, but eating safer, I will say. And I've got a better game plan. You might see me looking off in space a little bit. My vision right now is horrible, but I'm hoping to be back hopefully by next week.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
So with
So
that, yeah.
I want to thank everybody that reached out. If I didn't get to reply to most of y'all's messages, I will as soon as I can. I just, like I said, I'm having a hard time seeing messages and such. So,
Mhm.
but
yeah, so keep Dustin
I
in
appreciate
your
it.
prayers, please. As we normally do at the start of the show, but as Dustin has just barely gotten back out of the hospital, he didn't have time to find out if anyone else needed it. All right, and we're back.
I apologize. I
appreciate it.
apologize, guys. I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. We just did a little infomercial during that time. So, you've held titles, even though you, like you said, you don't truly care about them in the grand scheme of things. You just that they're accomplishments that you have received throughout the years. However, accomplishment that you like to flaunt around is match of the year. And as he said, you're going to be making a competitor.
Oh, he's already made. He's just waiting to be released.
Okay. So let's talk about it. You 4 times in a row, match of the year.
Well, not it should have been 5 in a row, but I won it 3. Lost the year before, then won it this year. I should have won it all 5.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So let's talk about the first one. What was that one?
The first one was my Origins finals victory, myself versus Sean Taft at Origins 2018.
Okay. So pretty early into everything. What made that one so special?
Sean Taft it was my first event outside of New York. I've never traveled to any convention, never anywhere. So nobody knew who I was or anything. So I was just out there working with the company. My first time working any con or anything with SRG. Went out there to have a good time. And I just entered the tournament just so it had something to do. I had no expectations on winning. I used Boombada. Just went on and I was shocked. I kept on winning. Was in a triple threat in the semifinals. It was myself against two other people from Comic Book World from Kentucky. Somehow I wound up winning it. Then it's myself and Sean in the finals. He's using El Super Hombre. I'm Boombada. And he had me dead to rights for a majority of the match. And I just had lucky rolls after a while. And threw a finish that I swore he had a stop for, but I was just throwing it to throw it. And it hit. And I rolled 10 with the crown meter. And even with Hombre's extra 2, he didn't break out. And I was just like, wow, I was just in shock.
So memorable for being the first time out, memorable for going into with yourself, winning Origins.
Yeah.
But compared to recent ones, it doesn't stand out as much.
Oh, no. Well, because that was also before the age of streaming. That was before the age of pretty much everything with SRG. It was back at the time, like, if he wasn't there, nobody really knew about it. They didn't video and go live. There was no discussion group back then. It was just everything was posted on either the Twitter or on the Facebook page itself.
Which is ridiculous to think of. That just, what, 5 years?
2018, 5 years ago.
5 years ago, none of the infrastructure that we put into place now was there. Okay, so what about your second one? So 2019.
2019 was at Grand Gathering 1. I was defending the Underworld title in a 4-way against Jacob Denmark, Shane Strickland, and King Greatness.
High-profile players.
Yeah, I was Grim with Candace. Jacob was Scott Prime. Shane was Snake Pit, and Greatness was Greatness. And this is before any new rules came out with targeting and everything. So Greatness was able to pull a card back, just matching his thing with anybody on the table. Snake Pit just had to see one person with 7 cards. It's as long as he had less cards, had one person on the table, his gimmick was on.
And for people that may not have ever known it, Grim is a competitor that could just take whatever competitor and become them.
Yes, just their gimmick, nothing else.
Yeah. Which, if you take, who'd you say you had? Candice?
Candice LeRae. So
yeah, that's pretty good with Grim.
I was able to have 2 10s with reason to grapple. And I only used that. And can I give a backstory on why I was using Grim with Candice?
Of course.
Oh, go ahead, buddy.
Grim with Candice was a combination I never used. I never even thought of using. But earlier that year, in January, the SRG lost a great person by the name of Matt Stevens. And I wanted to honor him at the first Rumble at the Rumble, which was taking place 2 weeks later. So I contacted Kirk Polka, Shane Strickland, Harvey Lusta, Anarchy Sun, and other people down there in Kentucky. And I was like, hey, I want to honor him because I met him at Origins back in 2018. I was like, he was a great guy. I'm like, what was his favorite competitor to use? As I knew who he used at Origins, but I wasn't sure if he used anybody else. They said, well, lately he's been using a lot of Grim with Candace has been his favorite competitor. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I've never built him. Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, anything specific that I should put in the deck? They were like, if you want to honor Matt, he goes, there are 3 cards that he played in every single deck. And that's Big Boot, Spear, and Schoolboy. So I was like, okay. They said they were his favorite wrestling moves. So I had them in the deck. And then Rumble at the Rumble 1, they had an extra stipulation on whoever won the event also would get a Underworld title shot at Grand Gathering. So I just luckily won the event, had the Underworld title shot, and defeated Shane Strickland for the belt on the first night of Grand Gathering. And then we had this defense on the next night. And that was the whole reason why I used Grim Candace, was to honor Matt Stevens.
Awesome.
Nice. That's one thing I'll never forget that match. I remember just standing by there, and it was like you said with the rules and stuff like that. It was just unreal.
Yeah, and a funny story about that match. When Calais came to me and said, "Hey, we're going to do this the Fatal 4-Way. Do you mind doing it now?" I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Give me about 20 minutes. I have to go down and get the deck and get it prepared." He was like, "All right, quick." So myself and Pulverino ran from the ballroom, took the elevators from hell that were in that hotel to our floor to go to our room, and just deck teching quick. So I'm just looking at the deck I had the day before, just thinking of strategy. And he's like, and Pulverino's like, "Yo, take out this spear, take this." I'm like, "I'll take out the spear, I'll put in a stop." I'm like, "But I'm not taking out the big boot." He's like, "But why? You can run." I forgot what other cards. He goes, "It's so much better." And I'm like, "I just have a feeling." He was like, "All right, whatever." I left it in. And then we're on Crown Meter 5. I had the big boot finally had Druid in my hand. And I just threw it on King Greatness. And I wound up drawing 5 cards off of it. And off of that 5th card, I drew the finish, in which I knew from him stopping other people that he did not have the stop for. John Poverino's right behind my head. I drew it off of it. It was the last card I drew. I gave him a look, and he went, "Effing big, big boot." I won the next turn, played the finish I won, and I was like, "And you wanted me to take that card out of the deck?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "It was something with you on that one."
Matt Stevens honoring you, giving you a little bit of luck from the other side, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, your third one, 2020.
Yes, I'm trying to remember which one that was. Oh, that was me and Bell for the world title.
Ah, yes, definitely. When you had to fight off 501 DQ cards.
7 DQ cards she threw at me, and I somehow still survived.
To get your first ever world heavyweight title.
Yep.
Very memorable there.
Yeah.
Also one that you played as yourself.
Yes.
So even more memorable because of it.
Yes, I had the title shot due to Faction Wars.
Yep. That was the one that was very special because the Phoenix was the
He
one
gifted
that
me the shot.
gifted
Yep.
you the shot.
Great friend.
Mm-hmm.
I met Evie his first day in the game at PAX Unplug 2018. And I became close with him from that day forward. We've always talked, and we still talk to this day. I consider one of my closest friends in this game.
Awesome. It is good to have very close friends that do not stab you in the back.
Even though me and John had that fall point, John is a brother to me. We were talking just earlier today. We talk a lot. I'll do anything for him. He'll do anything for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And we'll skip over the one you lost this past previous year.
Yeah, the one I won this year was for the inaugural Play Pure title tournament. When I lost to Kami Mam in the finals, she was again El Super Hombre against Italian Boombada. Seems like that comes up a lot for me.
Well, you have to beat the big ones.
It was a great match. Went to Crown Meter 5. I should have won if I would have remembered that finishers are follow-up, so I'd have been able to search for my finish when I hit the Crown Meter, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together in my head, and she went on the rolls and got the victory. And it was a great match, and I don't look back on it upset or anything. She deserved it.
Awesome. All right. Now we'll go into Tear. What was the one that you were supposed to win but didn't?
Oh, that would be at Origins 2021. Yeah. Semifinals of the tournament. Jeremy Steigerwald, myself, and Jeff McPeak.
Oh, the triad match from hell.
Yes. The match was an hour and a half long. And none of us could stop laughing or smiling throughout the entire match. We all had a great time. We had a huge crowd around us watching, but people were just too into the match to want to stream it. So we were told we lost due to the match wasn't streamed.
Yep.
But two people were just too much enjoying the match to want to even think about even streaming it.
Mhm.
And everybody was like, yo, that match is great. And it was one of the few times that after a match, I could say Jeffrey Pete got up and he shook both of our hands and he was happy that he lost.
And just like a lot of great matches, they are lost to history, only remembered in memories and from so-and-so saying something about the match.
Yes.
So
Jeremy, myself, and Jeff to this day keep saying that we won that match of the year that year.
Mm-hmm. Because what won match of the year?
Rump and John P. When they played at not Grump. Yeah, Grump and John P. when they played at Polgarino's house and he threw Khalees in the pool.
I mean, that isn't even most remembered moment.
Yeah.
Khalees getting thrown into the pool. I think that was them just being marks for themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So nice little go through memory lane talking about all these different matches that Mr. What did you say the competitor's name's going to be?
Mr. Match of the Year.
Mr. Match of the Year.
Mr. Match of the Year, Chris Pagillo.
Okay. And we're gonna
finally one with my name on it that's actually gonna look like me.
What? The guy with the horse head kind of looks like you.
The original art looked exactly like Johnny the Bull Stromboli.
Yes. Okay, but we'll come back into this. It's the top of the hour, which means we go into that nice little rapid fire questions. So I hope you're ready for all of them,
I'm
horse.
ready.
First and foremost, as always, pineapple or sheep?
All depends. If it's on pizza, neither.
I mean, sheep is good on pizza.
But if it's people, I love both Matt Nealon and Kurt Polka evenly. I can't choose between the two of them.
Fair enough. Granted, there's one that you have a bunch of competitors with, and there's one that you don't.
One I'm in a faction with, the other one it was in a faction with, the other one and the other I just have a lot of cards with.
Yeah. Cat or dog?
I'm a cat person. I'm not a big dog guy.
Candy Ma'am or Candy Mandan?
I've had a lot more memorable matches against Candyman than Candyman Dan, so I got to go with Ange.
Strike, grapple, or submission?
Oh, submission, hands down.
Horse or shark?
They're both me. To be fair, I'm going to go sharks. I love being Shaggy Shark a lot more than being Boombada because he just annoys the crap out of people.
Okay. And then last but definitely not least, Nightmare King or the Dark Prince?
The Nightmare Princess.
The Nightmare Princess. Okay. Awesome. All right. So, for the people that don't actually know, we have another thing that we need to get out of here. Why is your name Boombada right now?
Because at Grand Gathering 3, I had a match with a stipulation against Lynn, the Great Outdoors, in which whomever lost had to change their name from that point forward until the end of Origins. And I'm a man of my word. Lynn won. I'm now the Boombada.
Okay. And what were you going to call Lynn if you had beat her?
Oh, she was going to be the Great Indoors.
The Great Indoors instead of the Great Outdoors.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, here it is. I even had a bag for her and everything.
All right. And we do have one question.
When you were asking names, I thought you were going to ask about a different name, but okay.
No. But now we do have a question from PAX Unplugged's champion, the Dark Prince.
I already answered. I'm not answering anything about the tag team.
Well, he still has a question that he would like to ask. Go ahead.
Thank you, there, Chibi. And Mr. Boombada. I have two simple questions. And I heard what you had to say about, the Nightmare King, but that's in the past. Two questions. One, who would be your dream opponent in LFF?
Honestly, I've played against everybody. I don't have any dream opponent. I don't think there's anybody I've not played a game against.
Okay, fair enough. Another one. I'm going to do this one differently. Most of it was for people that likes mine, but you, I got a perfect one for you. If you were able to go after any, and I mean any title in any company, no tag team, any title, which title will you go after and which company?
The tornado and LFF, so I can tie John Polverino.
All right, fair enough. Carry on.
Okay. Thank you, Dark Prince, for those wonderful questions.
No
And
problem.
the Cheesehead asked cheese or pickle.
Ooh, I do like both. I literally just had a sandwich just before with a chicken patty with cheese and pickles on it.
Chicken patty.
Yeah,
Oh,
with cheese and
Ain't
pickles and
nothing wrong with
barbecue
that.
sauce. Yeah.
okay.
Uh, if I had to choose which one I like the best, I just not like somebody that can just go and eat a piece of cheese, but I can just go into a refrigerator and grab out a pickle and just notch on a pickle. So I'd have to say pickle.
Aye.
And pickle juice is just amazing.
Oh. Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. So back to what we were going on before. We talked about Mr. Match of the Year,
Yes.
and you said he's gonna just be as close to you as you can have.
He literally looks like me, except for it. When I sent the arts, when I still had the goatee and the longer hair, so the art
Okay.
has the longer hair and the goatee on it.
Okay. Okay. Want to give us a sneak peek of what you wanted to do?
Oh, it's already done.
Okay. So
It's already done. It's like I said, it's going to have the backstretch, Boombada, Jacquet, and Shaggy Sharks logos, and the gimmick is, for your card effects, this match is considered a triad match. Oh, I'm sorry, my sister needs me 30 seconds, real quick.
all right. So a 5 and 6 stat line. Yeah. All right. And once again, we're going to go off topic then.
This is brought to you by Pickles.
It's definitely not done by Pickles.
Cheese and pickles. Cheese and pickles.
All right.
I'm so sorry. I thought I planned this perfectly. My food delivery just arrived. I have to run downstairs to go grab it.
No problem. No problem.
You're fine, buddy.
That's what I get for
Jeez.
planning things. I thought I had it planned perfectly. I forgot it's an hour and a half, not an hour.
All right.
I forgot it's an hour, not 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you need to go grab it. Go grab it. Okay.
All right.
With that, we'll be right back as we wait for the Boombada.
Have my food coming on time. We're good.
And we're back after that little break for food.
My Chinese food was here. I had to go grab it.
Okay. So every single one of your matches is going to be considered a triad match.
Yes. No.
No.
From my card effects.
All your
It's considered
card effects
triad.
are considered triad match. So you get
Yes.
the extra bits of all the triad cards,
Yes.
which means you can blow up bottom cards or you can add them to your hand, which is actually really, really powerful.
Yeah. And then the cosmics, bury 2, look at the top 3, add 2, and then shuffle my deck.
Full use of all of those, even better.
Nice.
The razor whip, search, put a card, and it's weird the full interaction on that. But yeah.
Okay. So we've talked a lot about future plans that you are obviously keeping if you will ever join a group again under wraps, because right now it's just about you.
Yeah, I have no plans currently, but I never say never. Anything can happen.
Let's talk about the past. How did you get into Super Show?
I walked into work one day at Belmont, and a good friend of mine, Mike, that his name's Mike DeVal. Some people back in the day, from New York know him as Ugly Bob. He played in Raw Deal all the time over here. I walked into work and he goes, "Hey Chris," he's like, "Hey," he goes, "You remember Steve we played Raw Deal with?" I'm like, "Resk?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "He created a new wrestling game. I got it. You want to try it out?" I was like, "Oh, sweet, yeah." So he just pulled it out and right there at work on our and the office desk as people are coming in where they're playing a game. So we're just playing it real quick. I was like, "Yo, this game's awesome." Immediately, I left the office, went to my onto my tour, and I texted Steve. I was like, "Yo, I work with the Valley. So he showed me your game. How can I get in this? How can I get it?" So I worked out with him on how to pick up a set. Then he's like, "Yeah, I'm heading to Legendary Realms." I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "Oh, to a store out in Long Island." I'm like, "I have no way to get there." He goes, "Well, where do you live?" So I told him where I live now, where I live then. He goes, "Oh, that's right by me." He goes, "I'll pick you up and I'll bring you." I was like, "All right, awesome." And ever since.
Ever since.
And that was back in 2017. Maybe earlier than that. 2016, maybe.
And you talked about your original competitor, the Italian Boombada,
Yes.
his backstory. How did you even come up with that character originally?
The Italian Boombada was my moniker when I used to do backyard wrestling. It was just a name I made up one day, as I just thought it sounded funny, and I always used it. And I use it in that. I use it in online e-feds back in the day, and AOL and chat rooms and stuff. The e-federations. And
where'd the
I just always
catchphrase
had the moniker
"forget
since.
about it" come from?
Oh, I'm Italian in New York. That saying is literally on billboards in New York. There is a saying, there is a billboard, "Now leaving Brooklyn, forget about it." So that's where Forget About It came from.
All right. Well, even though we got a little extra time after that little pause in the middle of it, we are getting towards the end of the show, folks. So if you have any questions, please ask them.
I saw Evil Ed with a little signal up earlier.
Let's see. Evil Ed had a little signal? No,
Yeah, he had a thumb. He had like a thumb up on his name.
Okay. Dizzy Derailed asked, did you wear a horse head back then?
No, no. Back then, the time mod had nothing to do with horse racing. That all started when I worked at the racetrack. That's where the horse head came in.
And Ronnie Rons would like to ask, what are your thoughts on the current state of trios, and where do you want to see them go in the next year?
I love when I took over trios. I made one promise to Khalees that it was going to be around and people would actually want to play it. Because back then, before I took over, it was a trios champion, but nobody really took it seriously. Nobody really cared. And I take pride that if it was, I even come straight out and say, if it wasn't for me, I don't think I would have had that huge of a tournament at Grand Gathering or that big tournament that I ran online. All because I think I made people want to play trios. I made it fun. I try to get people interacted. So I think trios is in a great position. And going forward, I want it to be up there for when people think of the top belts for trios to be there. And my face to be prominent right there in the middle of it.
Well, there you got it. What competitors would you like to see a trio based around that you haven't seen done yet?
Like what, 3 combined?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just for how crazy it will be, I would love to see Man Fulton, Practice Site, Duff Sanders.
Just we can discard one card and blank your any card.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they would have to have like parameters on it. Like they only could do it if they lost a turn roll by a certain amount. But just guys can be like anytime, anywhere to do it.
That would be a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Any others?
That I would love to see the Chibiverse as a trio.
The Chibi-verse. And what
Yes.
Chibis would you want on it?
Oh, it has to be Chibi, Neko, and Shaggy Shark.
Chibi Neko, Chibi Shaggy Shark.
Yes.
What would the gimmick even be at that point?
Who knows? Your opponent's 18 is -3. And draw a card when you hit a card with all the Shaggy Sharks keywords, and then Cat and Lucky.
That sounds a little too crazy.
That's trios. And there's some others that I have in my head, but I rather not bring them to speak them into existence so people won't think of doing them in actuality.
Okay. Dustin, you got any last minute questions?
Yes. Going forward, of course. Now you've accomplishments wise, you've done a whole lot. Is there still? I know you mentioned you want to win the tornado to tie with John P. Is there any other little goals that you have going forward?
I don't really set goals because I'm not somebody that I just take things as it happens. I'm happy with whatever I get. Like I make that comment about the tornado, but if I never get another tornado shot, I'll never be upset. I just take what I can get and go with the flow.
Alrighty.
Well, Chris, we're at that point in the show where You get to ask each of us one question, whatever it may be.
All right.
Let it rip.
Each one of you separately, correct, or just one
You can
question? Then
you can do it either way,
All right. I'm gonna go to you first, Chips.
of course.
If you can bring any competitor into the Chibiverse, who would you love to see as a Chibi?
Who I would love to see as a chibi. Well, he already has a 3D person, but I'd really want to see Chibiverse Lucia Maniacal Uberstar.
We've seen that already.
Well, we see it all the time. He doesn't have a card.
Oh no, I'm saying somebody who doesn't have anything that would be brand new.
Okay, nothing.
Yes.
Who wants to pay the money to be the next 3D chibi?
And why?
And what? I think Loudmouth would have a great time being a chibi.
Oh my god, I'm just picturing it right now.
I just don't know how in the world we would be able
How
to
big would that megaphone be?
I mean, you could make it as big as you wanted to. The real hard part is how to do the party trick without it getting blurred out the entire character.
Have you ever seen the party trick?
He almost did it at Grand Gathering 3.
Oh no!
I saw him going down, and I was just like, nope.
All right, and Dustin.
Yes, sir.
At Grand Gathering, you were looking kind of tall. How big were the lifts in your shoes?
Now, now, when I get back to recovering, you're gonna come down here. I challenge you to a backyard wrestling match. Let's bring our characters to life.
I refuse because I don't need you to be kicking at my shins the entire time.
It was only 2 address books.
You knew I had to make a short joke somewhere during this entire episode, Dustin.
I appreciate it. You kept it short.
All right. Well, Chris Fagillo, the Boombada, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It was a pleasure to have you. Dustin, what do we got for next week?
Next week, I've actually got openings. If anybody would love to be on next week's show, I asked that you private message Chibi here. On account of my vision, I can't really see text messages at this point. Plan wise, I'm not going to be able to play Super Show for a little bit as well, sadly. But if you don't care, if you want to be on next week's episode, whether you're a new player, whether you've been playing a month, it doesn't matter to me. If you're a veteran, we'd love to have you. I want to say, Boombada, we talk a lot of shit, but I'm happy to have you on today's show, buddy.
I love you, Dustin.
Love you too, buddy.
Okay. You hear that? Message me if you want to be on the show next week. Otherwise, can I get a bye, man?
I'll see y'all later.
Man.
Hopefully, I'll see y'all later. Whew.